Welcome back, and thank you for joining us at Saturday Night Ladies. I am Deej Barons.
I am Shari Fesco.
And I am Demi Constantine.
We are your Saturday Night Ladies, and we conclude our coverage of season 51. Congrats to us for that. We did our first season. I feel very accomplished. Sometimes episodes were a little late. It can be a bit tricky, but we got her done. We are at season 51, episode 20, with host Will Ferrell and musical guest Sir Paul McCartney. A lineup for the ages. So we're going to just go get right into it. So get your big dumb cup, put on your big dumb hat, and let's talk about Saturday Night Live.
Oh my, this was definitely an episode lineup for the ages. I could not agree with my fabulous producer, lovely and fabulous producer anymore. She said it very well. Yes, we have Mr. Will Ferrell, who's got a show coming out on Netflix all about golf. Not really a golf person, but it looks like it could be funny. And Molly Shannon's in it, which I'm very excited about because I love her. Let's start with the cold open. Well, I just looked at the cold opens today because I got my little ballot from the Saturday Night Network because they're having their first annual awards for season 51.
Got mine filled out, yep.
And I looked at the cold opens, as I'm sure you two fabulous ladies did, and I saw Trump, press conference. Was a lot of that. I don't know that that's ever going to change, and we got some more of that this time around, but at least it was a little twist. I know a lot of us were hoping for one of Will's other impressions, but we got Epstein as the ghost taking Trump into his dreams, or Trump was having a dream. We get Kristi Noem, so we get Ashley Padilla, Collins Hegseth, and Aziz's Patel. So this is a lot of what we've been seeing, but it's still funny, and I like the dream aspect. And, you know, Will Ferrell, he's just magical. I mean, when he's on, he's on. When he's not on, like any comedian, he's not. But here, I thought he was quite on. I thought he had nice chemistry with Jadge playing his Trump. And I think Jadge was kind of extra on it because he's had a little vacation from the Trump. So I think he was like happy to be doing it again. I think he was I was sensing a little fatigue, but I think because he got that break, he was able to really dive in. Not a bad cold open, not great, but a fun way to kick it off. And glad they got Will Ferrell into the fray.
Will Ferrell has always appeared in the cold open for all the episodes that he's hosted. So let's continue off tradition. And most people may have been expecting Bush, but Epstein's more in the news these days. And they're doing their little sort of twist on Christmas Carol with the ghost of Epstein visiting Trump and showing everything off 6 months later. Hegseth and Patel doing the booze bong. Ashley, as Kristi Noem, was promoting cleaning products after you shoot your dog. I was fully expecting Trump because it's been a while. It is a season finale, so it just made sense. But there have been worse ones. But at least we have the charm of Will Ferrell to sort of help balance that kind of stuff out. Jeremy says, "Do you want me to leave?" Trump says, "Is the Pope Catholic?" And Jeremy responds with, "Not enough for me."
Yeah, that was fantastic. I agree. I didn't know that Will Ferrell is always in the cold open, but I thought it was so unhinged that he came on as Epstein. Everything else was great. You know, everyone's like, oh my God, they're using Cash Patel again, using Aziz. And it's like, I don't know how long Aziz has in New York, but they're probably keeping him here because no one else can make fun of Patel. Only Aziz can do that. So I'm sure they're getting all the money that they can out of it, all the bang out of their buck as possible, because when if anything happens, they're not going to like fly him in overnight. So I don't know what he's doing in New York, but I'm sure they're wringing out every ounce of relevance while they can because no one else can do it. So
I do believe that is why, because by time season 52 rolls around, we don't even know if Patel will still be in charge of the FBI next week.
This is a great point.
No one else could play him, but someone who is of the same ethnicity, because I'm pretty sure SNL is done with that other thing that they've done in the past. We've learned our lesson. I didn't mind it. Their bit was actually my favorite.
Let's cruise on into the monologue, where we get Will Ferrell. Oh, wait. It's not Will Ferrell. It's Chad Smith, the drummer from the Chili Peppers. I just read about this and how they had this faux fighting about, I guess Chad got really mad when people were like saying something about him looking at like Will at a concert because he gets it a lot, I guess, which would be kind of annoying. So I kind of empathize with the guy. I'm sure it's nothing against Will, but it's probably just annoying because he's a talented drummer and he wants people to focus on that. But anyways, he was a great sport to come on. The two of them seem to have a very good relationship. So I think this has brought them together. Apparently they had some sort of drum off. I need to find that on YouTube because that's got to be very funny. They get that all cleared up. Will gets him, pushes him off the stage, and then he takes questions from the audience, and who should be there but Sir Paul? This was great fun. There were so many good monologues this season. I enjoyed this very much. Great fun way to get it started, for sure.
That drum battle was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and that is openly available on YouTube, and it is pretty effing fabulous. And I completely forgot about it until they mentioned it, because I'm looking at this, is like, how much has Will Ferrell changed? Because that does not sound, I mean, it's close, but the voice just wasn't quite the same. And then the real Will Ferrell comes out, and we go on from there. I believe that Chad was there that night because he was drumming for Paul McCartney. Made perfect sense. So yeah, it was a very, very good cold open. Oh, sorry, monologue.
The Chad Smith and Will Ferrell comparisons have been happening for as long as I can remember. As a big fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers and a big fan of Will Ferrell. This has been like a known thing. I just looked up the Will Ferrell and Chad Smith drum off on Fallon was 11 years ago. So this has been like a known thing. And I don't think there was any animosity. I haven't looked back, but it's always been everyone. It's been a very inside joke for like a while that they look so alike. They're very aware of it. Chad Smith has been really killing it. He was he drummed at Ozzy's last show. He drummed at the Ozzy tribute at the Grammys. He's just been very booked and busy, very in demand. He's very talented, obviously, just killing it, crushing it, much like Will Ferrell. So it is such a funny myriad of talent because like they're both top drawer in their field. So when the monologue started, Will Ferrell is like a lot older. There was a post on Reddit about the promo. He looked a little bit gone. He just looked like he hasn't gotten work done, and he's in his 60s. I mean, that's what he looks like, you know? So like a bit of a shock because he doesn't pop out very often. But when I saw the monologue, I was like, wait, is that he's not moving like Will Ferrell? Like what? And as you guys know, I do need new glasses. And then when he started talking, I'm like, that doesn't sound like what's happening. And as I was getting up to like look at my television up close, so much applause. Like they were both in on the joke, and they both pulled it off well enough that people were genuinely fooled for at least a moment. God, bravo! Thank you for giving us that. And even if you didn't know that was a thing, you can clearly see why it was a thing because they look so much alike. I think they're both really tall as well. I didn't get a good look at the height differential, but I think they're very similar in height. Like, there's not a marked difference that you could point out alone, like, oh, that guy's shorter or taller. But absolutely fantastic. Fan service. And then Paul McCartney came out to God bless him. He is still going. And yeah, this was such a treat of a monologue.
And I'm going to remind you again, Debbie, make your appointment, see your optometrist, get glasses.
I keep calling. They're never there.
Damn it. As the poster child for bad eyesight.
It really sucks. It's really cutting into my quality of life.
Yeah, no, it's seeing is very important.
Turns out.
Yeah, kind of helps you do stuff and things. But no, I always say that because I'm concerned, Demi, and I love you.
Thank you, Deej. I love you too.
Yes.
Hopefully this summer, Demi will get some new eyeglasses, so she'll be ready for season 52. I want her to be able to take it all in, because who knows what we'll be taking in.
Yes, there's her deadline. New glasses by season 52.
Thank you. Life goal.
Goals and deadlines are a good thing. They keep my ADHD brain organized, so yes. Let's mosey on into the first live sketch of the nice post-op. Small cast in this one. Will, Mikey, and Ashley. And they're in the hospital. Mikey had his gallbladder out. And Will is playing the wacky doctor, much like wacky doctors he's played in the past. There was lots of shades of his old characters, which happens with alumni that have the breadth and depth of character work that he does. And this time he has not only taken out the gallbladder, which was what was supposed to happen, but he also took off the penis and somehow it got incinerated. Oh my God. Poor Mikey. First, he's getting spit on last week, and now here he is losing his penis. And it's so great. And Ashley is just, she was in pretty much every sketch, I believe, except she was in all the live sketches. And for good reason. She is a phenomenon. I mean, the way she could go from like all out crazy to very subtle and subdued, like she is here, and letting these two comic geniuses she's in between sort of banter back and forth. And Mikey just goes from horrified to more horrified as Will keeps telling him about how he's sad about his penis because, he had to have lunch with his wife. It was just really good escalation. Not my favorite of the night, but certainly a good way to kick off the evening and to showcase our host because he plays Wacky Doctors well, as I said. According to the SNL wiki, the fandom wiki, which is usually right, but it's a wiki, so people are always adding things. But Mikey's 200th sketch. So, wow. Congratulations to
Congratulations to Mikey.
Yay! Okay, so I was just double checking. Did this doctor have the same doctor as the fertility doctor, Dr. Berman? According to subtitles, he was just referred to as the doctor. So Mikey's doing the hate or hide thing, where Ernest will doing the stuff on things with his hands on his head, which works for the character that he's doing. You could just tell he is trying his darndest not to just lose it. He came close so many times. Will's doctor's attitude, especially when he tells Ashley, stop being a bitch. And then the reveal later where he says, at least you have your testicle. Don't you need testicles? Like, no. There's a really great lawsuit right there. Because usually what they do before operations, I've learned this from watching so many medical shows, is before they even start the operation, they actually will say, okay, we'll say that this is the patient, and this is what he's in for. So, yeah, this guy obviously did not do that. Because I think he has use for his penis. Because that's the other question is, how does he pee? Totally ridiculous, and just, but mainly Mikey just trying not to crack up and using the Ultra Stefan move to cover it up, which was wise, because it worked for the shock of him finding out that his penis was gone.
I know people might think, I actually didn't even think of this, but I guess people might think that Will Ferrell is just trotting out the same tropes and characters, but I didn't choose to look at it like that. I mean, my first impression was that this was this was kind of had an air of like greatest hits, because I think the Dr. Fertility sketches, Will Ferrell was kind of notorious for saying that playing to dead air was not his goal, but if it happened, he was going to make the audience suffer. So if you've ever gone back, I watched that Dr. Fertility sketch live, and I remember it being, should I think this is funnier? Because Will Ferrell seems to think this is really funny. Oh man, I'm so confused right now. This is so existential. I think that's the sketch that like truly embodied that way that he did SNL. He would say that if the audience didn't like it, he's like, oh, you're really not going to like it. And he would just dig in and deliver the lines extra slow, enunciate harder, and just really commit 10x to whatever he was doing. So that already is like floating in the lore of like Will Ferrell SNL fandom. So for him to come out and pull a similar move to that, to this doctor, was very greatest hits. I kind of like my way of phrasing that. Shari does too, so I'm going to keep saying it. But it kind of fit the motif of like greatest hits, like, doctor that completely massively screws up and treats it like an admin issue. It's like the guy version of I own that. Like, it doesn't mean anything. But what was funny about it when we were doing the SNN Hot Take show is that as soon as the doctor came in, Andrew Haskell was like, oh, they cut off his penis. I'm like, what? How did you get there that fast? Like, is this just how a different way to think? Like, I wasn't like surprised, but I was like, that was not the first thing. Like, oh, the doctor cut off his penis by accident. Like, what? It just knew the scheme already. Like, I don't think Ashley and Will made each other break like the whole time. I think there was it's evenly matched performers. Must have been some mutual respect. But of course, she's great. Mikey's great. I think Mikey almost broke in this scene, though, a little bit. I was like, what's happening? So I thought it was a perfectly placed first sketch that sorry, but
I was almost half expecting Tim Meadows to come in and do the robot, but if you're not following Tim Meadows right now, you should, because on Instagram, right now it's all about his beautiful, beautiful cat. So unfortunately, his show DMV got canceled. So that was unfortunate, but at least I got one season reward.
Yeah, Taram Killam's Stumble was canceled as well. So the only one who seems to be making it to a second season is Tracy Morgan and Bobby Moynihan. Reggie Dinkins is being renewed. So a couple of our SNL alumni favorites are getting renewal.
Although Taryn does have a semi-regular role on High Potential as the ex-husband, so he is still there. He's still doing stuff. So yay.
So we've moved from the hospital to the Shire, and it is time for our first pre-tape of the night, a midnight matinee. This was not the typical midnight matinee with usually the crazy sci-fi fantasy visuals. This one was a little bit of a departure from that. I went to New Zealand many years ago because my husband is a gigantic Lord of the Rings fan. So I am not, but he is. So this was very this was very popular in our household, and the look of it, like my husband was going on and on about how absolutely gorgeous and spot on the set was, the costumes were. I mean, everything was perfect. And yeah, I have to agree. It looked great. And Will Ferrell is playing the Bilbo Frodo character who's supposedly going to go and sacrifice himself, which is why this pre-tape is called Switching Sides, because instead of sacrificing himself, he switches sides and goes to the orc side. And there's a whole song. And we've got a lot of folks in this. Ben, Chloe, Andrew, Will, Tommy, Jeremy, and Jadge was the one with the beard. I didn't recognize him. The wiki cleared that up for me. Apparently the bearded one was Jadge, who then goes and gets nailed with an arrow by traitor Bobbin. This was funny enough. I thought it was nice that it was a departure for Dan. It was something a little different. I liked the song. I just couldn't get over how amazing it was to look at. I mean, that they could do this in a week. It's like we say this every week. We're constantly astounded by what they can do in a week. And this was just another example of that. So yeah, a fun pre-tape, our only pre-tape for the night.
Here in my area, which is just outside of Vancouver, we actually have a home on 587 West King Edward Avenue that's called the Hobbit House. Built in 1942, and the outside looks like a Hobbit's house with the cedar thatch roof, stone exterior, and rather sort of fairy tale design. But it's actually a 2,900 square foot, 3-bedroom, 4-bath home. It's quite cool. For this, I gotta say, oh my god, Tommy as an elf. I mean, hello. The sketch kind of reminded me of the one they did with House of the Dragons. When our dearly departed Michael Longfellow was playing one of the Targaryens. There's something about a guy thought long straight hair and that look. It's just, oh my god, handsome. But I did like the twist of switching sides and first thinking that he was killed, but then eventually he was killed in the end after he gave up the amulet thing.
This was such a puzzle to me because like you said, Shari, the set design and the costume was so high level, like so advanced, like so detailed, and then the premise and the execution was so simple. Coming to Stormont Castle, what are we going to do? Here's this intricate plan that's going to result in sure death, but who will do it to save this city? And then Will Ferrell's character is like, I'll do it, but it turns out he just like is helping other guys tell them where the weak spots are so they can just invade. Be like, yeah, no, I'm not risking anything. Really simplistic, like, oh no, JK. Psych clashed with the really high effort of set design. So I was like, what? This can't be the only thing, but it was. So separately, I admire many things about this, including the fact that this did not reward traitors, because I think Will Ferrell got his head cut off. I'm so at a loss, but that's what I got for that.
Will's head singing at the end and giving away the location of women and children was just a lovely button. And very funny. And again, it looked like a severed head. I can't believe what these talented people can do. I am so fortunate that I can watch it every week because I'm amazed. Speaking of some nostalgia, it's cast list 2 because there was a cut for time cast list sketch that I didn't really even know about till recently because I'm out of the loop with things that are floating around on the internet. I had heard about this sketch, but I had never seen it. And then I saw it a couple years ago. And now here's the second one, bringing back this drama teacher and all these wacky high schoolers that we probably all know at least one of them or some version of them. And they're all waiting for the cast list. I know last night on the Saturday Night Network, Amanda talked about, or I guess that wasn't last night. I guess it was tonight. But Amanda talked about how that was so spot on, how they were just totally like that, just standing, waiting. And this was just hilarious. Everybody was great. And boy, everybody was in this. And I do mean everybody, except for Che and Jost. We get a great cameo. Molly Shannon is the music teacher. She was just brilliant. She does not miss a beat. What a joy to see her. Yes, I agree. I would like to have seen her in some other things, but I'm just happy she was in this. It was delightful that she made time in her schedule. I'm sure she's a busy woman. This was great fun. And as a drama geek myself, and I know Deej's one as well, this definitely hit home. I remember waiting outside for the cast list several times in my youth. And it is very intense. And it's exactly like this. And Ashley, great French kissing the air. I mean, there was just too much good stuff in here to spotlight anybody because everybody was great. Ben, being asked if he's willing to dye all of his hair darker. Just classic stuff. Will is great here. I love the peeking through the wicked sign. This was a home run for me. Great fun, very silly. I'm glad they brought it back. I know there's all kinds of controversy about why this was cut for time. I'm glad they had the forethought to bring it back in this incarnation. It was a great way to get the whole cast involved. So 2 thumbs up for me.
This is my definite sketch of the night because I remember the first one. I was a theater person in high school. First played the pivotal roles of Sharecropper number 3 in Finian's Rainbow. And then the following year, I was the doorman in My Fair Lady. Yeah, that's what happens. So I very much relate to Jane. She was always the tree. She didn't want to be the tree. And she ended up being the tree again. I loved her performance with this. It was so great. And the continuity with Mikey, the hot theater guy who everyone adored and loved, very similar to Lin-Manuel Miranda in Crucible Cast Party. Poor Tommy getting basically it's not pants. That one's
Wedgie.
Wedgie, I was just about to say.
Wedgie, thank you. Yeah, so Molly Shannon giving Tommy a epic wedgie. And the continuation again, because of the first sketch, comedy tragedy mash on the door, and Will was just looking out with his eyes, and then they graduated it to the Wicked poster so they can get Molly Shannon in there, just watch them all get upset in a tizzy. Everybody did so great in this, and that was a sketch that definitely should have been in the show. So that they brought this back, absolutely brilliant. There was also the mention of Sarah in the wheelchair, hoping that they wouldn't have her in the show, but they got taken away at the end. But my all-time favorite, though, was poor Jane having to be the tree again. Oh, and the 2 sports guys just being in there for credit. Totally, completely. And Keenan back as the choreographer, just continuity, and the end being that Mikey, even though he's not a student, just an assistant to the teacher, that he gets the lead role in the show. It's like, what the hell? Because that's what always happened with our particular drama club, is the drama club president usually always got the lead, which was okay for grade 11, because she was actually really good. But My Fair Lady in grade 12, this woman just could not sing, but she pretty much got the part because she was the drama club president. So I know the feels of what all those students were going through.
Well, I was in the cheap seats for drama club. I was not officially in drama class, but I was in drama club, there are very different stakes. So I got a 2 lines in our town. So I was like, good enough for me. Good enough for me. I can talk about this forever. And I was an improv group. And one of our sketches like made it to a talent show. I don't remember. I've seen the Cut for Time drama teacher sketch so many times. I've probably seen it like 50 times. I thought for sure it was part of the episode. I was like, did not believe it was Cut for Time. I'm like, no, I remember watching this. And it was like, no, this was never part of the show. I'm still not convinced it was not part of a show, but I'll just accept it. The beats were very similar, like almost beat for beat. Very similar, but they did switch it up. They had Mikey be graduate. They did him in the same outfit though, as previously as the favorite. Now he's a teacher's aide who gets like the part ahead of everyone. I did like how they mixed it up. I liked how they had someone in a wheelchair that was like doomed. I like how they were all doomed. Molly Shannon getting Tommy to sing by giving him increasingly intense wedgies would normally be problematic, but I guess we're just not gonna worry about that anymore because it was executed so well. Like Tommy's voice got progressively higher and more strained every time she jocked him. And I was like, oh my God, I was a little concerned, but he did such a good job matching what she was doing with the effect of a much higher voice that it was funny because they performed it so well. So props to Molly and props to Tommy for really making that work. Because if any of them had screwed it up, it would not have been funny. And you would have focused more on, it's actually problematic that this is happening. You couldn't do this in the other way around. Couldn't do it if it was a guy and a girl. Obviously, you couldn't do it with a guy and a girl. Obviously, that would not work. So there's a double standard. And you did a really good job. The drama of drama, I guess you could say. And the inset was great with them looking out and relishing in the stress. This is for people that look at SNL on Wikipedia. These sketches are people that like know that they've done research on Will Ferrell already. So, or maybe not, I don't know. But thank you, SNL.
Could not agree more. I'm glad you two got into the Tommy of it all. He definitely had a shining moment here. And I just have a feeling, like I get the whole sexual harassment thing, but I have a feeling this is in Tommy's reel of favorite moments because Molly Shannon is pulling, I mean, she's got to be one of his icons. I can't imagine she's not. And to have that interaction, and Will Ferrell too, who I'm sure is an icon of all of them. So I'm sure they're all pinching themselves because you never imagine you're going to be on a stage with two of the greatest who've ever done it. And there you are. And there he is having his pants pulled.
Well, just like back to the 50th anniversary show with the Scared Straight sketch. And then have Will Ferrell coming in as the third prisoner.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eddie Murphy. Wow. I'm sure Keenan's mind was blown. Because I don't know if he's done a lot with Eddie. They're from definitely different times in comedy. So yeah, good point, Deej. Definitely another like, I bet they were all pinching themselves moment because there were some greats in that sketch. We're having a fun episode. This was really a fun one. One of the reasons it was so much fun is because one of the greatest songwriters, musical artists, he's amazing. I know not all the youth know who he is. I don't care. They still know he's great. I was very impressed that the young folk in the discussion last night were justifiably in awe because they hear about him from their parents. Of course, I'm talking about Sir Paul McCartney. Yes, his voice is not perfect anymore. He's 80-something years old. He still sounds good, and his songwriting is freaking fantastic. He had a brand new song. Apparently, he's putting out a whole album. I call them albums because I don't know what else to call them. He sang this new song, Days We Left Behind, which beautiful. I love the like sepia toned pictures of him as a child, pictures of him with other members of other musical groups he was in, and then with the Beatles, of course. This was a beautiful autobiographical song. It just proves that he is as amazing a songwriter now as he was 50 years ago, or however long ago that was, 60 years ago. Just amazing. He does Band on the Run, which was Wings. Great song also, great story. Ends with Coming Up, surprise encore. I'm so happy that they didn't have as many sketches and they only had the one pre-tape. In this case, I was totally good with it because it's freaking Sir Paul McCartney. And I'm glad he got a chance to do that encore song. It was a perfect way to end the finale. I can't say enough good things. I just so excited that he was on. I could tell he was having a great time. He was in a sketch we're going to talk about in a minute. He was in the monologue. I mean, when Paul comes, he comes to play. So an absolute home run for me.
Absolutely. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Because it's Sir Paul McCartney, which I sort of saw live a few years ago. I was doing like on-call work at BC Place for working concessions because I had a license to serve liquor, and so I was able to hear most of the concert. But that's about the closest I've ever got. Personally, I don't believe that the encore was a surprise because in past episodes where he has been the musical guest, he has traditionally done 3 songs. So that just always happens. Interesting that you talk about the generational thing with a lot of younger people these days not necessarily knowing who he is. Because I remember the big joke back in the late 70s and 80s is like, did you know that Paul McCartney was in a band before the Wings? And absolutely great songwriter, although I do have to question Temporary Secretary. I never quite understood that song. What can you say about Sir Paul? He is a classic. He's still putting music out. He's still doing what he loves. And yes, age changes the voice, but he still has the voice. So, it's like with Cher. You can't complain. They are legends for a reason. And you just have to accept that you're going to get older. Everyone's going to get older because even my singing voice has changed over the years too. So it's like, those people can shut up. This is a legend in songwriting from all the way from the Beatles to what he's done today. So if you're going to come after that, there's going to be a whole bunch of people coming after you. I'm sure a lot of Reddit people had something to say about this.
Oh, Deej, great call. I was actually monitoring it. There were a few comments like, oh, dude's old. And it's like, yeah, good observation. But there was a lot, I'm just going to say this real quick and not to be insufferable, but there was much, much, much less hate than Stevie Nicks or Cher got. Cher and Stevie Nicks, people were like, why do they exist? It was like, they're old, like they don't sound good. Don't let yourself get gaslit into liking these people. They don't have it anymore. Paul McCartney I don't think I almost had any of those comments. It was all like, wow, applause, this is so great, which is great and proper and appropriate. But I did notice a discrepancy. I'm like, okay, noted. I think that voicing was temporary. I don't think that's his like baseline. I think there was something temporary going on. He did a show like 6 months ago in England because Geezer Butler and his wife went and they both posted the exact same video, the view from the stage. It was so cute. I know he's not like been in hiding or anything. I know he's definitely doing stuff. I can't believe he's still going and like, he looks really agile. He was playing guitar, like standing up. Like this guy, he looks great. Sounded, all things considered, pretty great. And I do love Band on the Run. I love that song. I know it's Wings. It's not Beatles, but I was hoping that he would do that. I'm like, oh, it's a well-known song from his solo era, his solo Paul McCartney forward-centered band stuff. I was hoping they were going to do that. I wish I predicted it. But again, I literally don't like to predict the song I want to hear at a concert. But I'm so glad he did it.
My favorite was Coming Up. And the video that they did for is interesting. They have him and in some cases his wife, Linda McCartney, playing different people in the band, but it's all him and all her.
I do want to add real quick. I don't think it may not have been a surprise to have the encore at the end, but I think it was a surprise that it went over time. I don't know about you guys, but my affiliate, because I think we're all thinking the same, like, oh God, it's going to cut off. We're not going to see it. They're going to cut off. We're going to get one sentence out of the song and it's going to end. But I think I got like 3 or 4 extra minutes of performance. So that was a surprise. I don't know what black magic they were doing that we got they squeezed out a little bit more network time, but that was a surprise that I was very glad to be a part of.
Agreed. I love the encore, and I do agree with Deej that he has done encore. He has done a third song all the times he's been on, but the way they've been cutting things off, I was nervous. But they did fewer sketches, and they only did the one pre-tape. They also had a very long update, which we're just about to get to. But yeah, I was delighted that we got to see Sir Paul do a great song. I also love Coming Up, Deej. I love the Like a Flower part. I just think that's so poetic. The man can write a song. Oh, he really can. So after we get that lovely musical interlude, we go into Update. I don't know. Update's been on absolute fire for the past couple episodes. I have really enjoyed almost every update this season. There couple of bits I haven't been that into, but as a whole, they've been pretty stellar. And this one is no different. And you know what time it is. What's up with Update with our lovely Ms. Deej? Take it away.
Okay, so Trump traveled 14,000 miles for a 40-hour summit, which historians are already calling could have been an email. He was greeted at the Great Hall of the People by school children, jumping up and down in excitement, shouting, "It's the man from the hats we make! He brought his son Eric!" As a gift. CIA Director John Ratcliffe traveled to Cuba, which has run out of oil and is experiencing massive blackouts. We said the CIA Director because the FBI guy is also experiencing massive blackouts. Cole Thomas Allen has pleaded not guilty to attempting to assassinate the president, a crime which carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. He could also be charged with trying to kill the vice president, which carries a maximum penalty of a full pardon, to which we study a shot of the January 6th riot. Health Secretary RFK Jr., seen here showing how vaccines turn you gay, said that during an Oval Office event that in 1970, men had twice the sperm count as teenagers do today. The teenage sperm counts were measured at the "You're Sure This Is Legal?" Institute. Trump said in an interview that he is now referring to Democrats as thumbcrats because they're dumb. Clever. He's also referring to himself as the greatest president of all time. According to a senior official, Trump keeps a letter in the Resolute desk addressed to VP J.D. Vance in the event he dies or is assassinated. The letter reads simply, "I wish it had been you." This one is one of the more biting ones from Jay. Trump has rejected Iran's latest demands to end the war, including recognition of Iranian sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz and U.S. war reparations. You want reparations for America? Get in line, honey. And coming from Shay, that made so much sense. Texas Senator John Cornyn has introduced legislation to rename a interstate highway Trump Interstate, because for some reason, people associate Trump with traffic across state lines. Conservative political figure Carrie Lakey has been appointed by Trump to be the next ambassador to Jamaica. Lake says her top priority will be converting reggae to reg straight. FIFA announced that this year's World Cup final will have a halftime show featuring Madonna, Shakira, and BTS, which is being described as something for everyone to dislike. Researchers studying the 59,000-year-old teeth of a Neanderthal found first evidence of an attempt to fill a cavity. The evidence was the stone tablet denying coverage. Again, another reason I love Canada. There's now a national dental plan. Everybody in Canada can get dental coverage.
Oh my God.
That's why I love my country. Oh, Canada. I love this place. A scientist has discovered a new species of flower that only exists in New Jersey, where it is bullied constantly for looking like a pussy. This is a very little white fluffy flower. And thus concludes What's Up with Update, the jokes that I liked. And we have our one and only correspondent, which I'll get to Sherry to introduce.
Yes, it was indeed only one correspondent tonight. Apparently another was caught. Sarah was doing something. But we got Jeremy Culhane. Today he's doing Mr. I can't possibly do Jeremy justice. Mr. On Blast. I did not get this as much the first time, but I really, really enjoyed it this time as he's blasting really everything. I can't. He went from topic to topic so seamlessly, and Colin just shakes his head and does what Colin does, eggs him on. And this was fabulous. And kudos to Jeremy. Everybody wants that update spot when there's only one for the finale, and he landed it. So that says something about him and what he's doing on the update desk. So kudos to Jeremy. Kudos to Mr. On Blast. I loved him because he was very 80s in his fedora and his stripy, sparkly coat and his breakdancing robotic moves. I just loved it all. I got a big kick out of it. Great way to end his season.
First, I was sorry. I was the same. I appreciate it, but I didn't quite get it the first time. But the escalation he did with the commentary is good. The main gist of this is the battle between Jeremy and the sound people. And then we add the two dancers or backup singers, whatever they were, to the end, just completely escalating it. Jeremy Culhane is definitely going to be back next season because he has proven himself so much over the season, everywhere from the Melissa McCarthy sample sketch, then Pinwheel and Tucker Carlson and this. I'm getting more used to Mr. On Blast. Kind of has slight shades of Crispino, who, Bobby Moynihan's character, who the more he lied, the higher his voice got. Jeremy has a thing here, and it's working, and I can't wait to see more next season. I don't know how much is planned out in advance with the sound guy, or is he free to basically mess with him, or is the sound guy messing with Jeremy? We don't know, but that's part of the fun.
I was crying at Mr. On Blast. From the first time I saw him, like I love this so much. So the first time, whenever SNL makes fun of comedians, stand-up comedians, I think it's so funny. When Fred Armisen would make fun of an Indian reservation comedian, and Nicholas Fane is supposed to be like I don't remember. Nicholas Fane is forever hilarious to me, forever hilarious, because it is so accurate. Like I know people like that. It's just so for Jeremy Colleen to come out and to name one controversial thing in like AI, what's up with that? Maybe time to put it on blast and to start dancing with sound effects and like Vogue. It is so funny that I can't even breathe, to take like the trope of a comedian that's really gonna let everyone have it and really gonna make a statement here about what's really going on, and it's nothing. It's just him dancing in like an 80s fedora and a vest. It is so funny to me, because to me it makes fucking comedians like, you're not actually just, what does it matter? Like, just this job is so stupid. Like, you can just like, I'm gonna uncover the deep state and just make it into a dance. It is so absurd. It tickles my funny bone. Like, I cannot even explain how much I love this. So this what escalated to like 9 different layers of the atmosphere this time. I am going to take up more time on this than a lot of other things. So first of all, they had him. So there's like the sound effects and Deej. I honestly don't think you could possibly time that perfectly. So I think no matter what, it's not going to sync up, and it's going to be funny. And when it does sync up, that's also funny. So it cannot fail. And it's so perfect. So then this one had an inset, an over-the-shoulder inset that like was matched up, was synced up. I could not believe it, because it was obviously pre-recorded, and they were like talking and putting things on blast to each other, which meant nothing. And then Colin Jost, so then this dancers came out, and then so first before that, Colin Jost was putting things on blast, and he like kind of said something that was like actually kind of serious, and like took a stand on something, but like it wasn't a good stand. It was like kind of a hot take. And then he tried to do the Mr. On Blast thing, but he couldn't do it quite the same. And then there was a fart sound effect, and I'm sorry, that was so funny. I couldn't even deal with how funny that was. It's so stupid. Like, make this. I think we can make it stupider. It's like, congratulations, you made it stupider. And I love that so much. And they brought out 2 background Mr. On Blast for no reason. They added nothing to the concept, nothing to execution. There was no reason for him to have that. What is this? David has pumpkins? Like, this makes no sense. But they were like oddly skilled and synced up. The choreography was good. We're in the same outfit, the same like aqua, blue, purple, cummerbund colors. It's so stupid, and they executed it pretty well. But like I said, that thing is funny. When they sync up, it's funny, and when they are not synced up, it's funny. So it cannot lose. I was crying laughing. And no big surprise, Reddit, it is from Sketch Story Sunday, it is the top thing is Mr. On Blast.
I'm going to guess, Debbie, that you also enjoyed the Kings of Catchphrase comedy series.
Oh my God.
Beef Jelly. Or Fur Coat Rhonda. Why? Because I'm Fur Coat Rhonda. I did. And,
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I was totally going to kick out of those ones.
Yes.
I saw one recently. I rewatched one recently from when Mick Jagger hosted.
Yeah, they did it like they did made to a runner. I think they did 3 of them.
Yeah. And I liked Seth Meyers as Boston Powers. So that is a really great series. I have a deep hatred of Nicholas Fane. That should have been a one and done. It should have never come back.
More Nicholas Fane. I think he's so funny.
No. I say no. We're going to vehemently disagree if you want.
Indeed, I'm at a loss, but that's okay.
Humor is different.
That's
People are
okay.
different. I just found it annoying.
I do know people like that, though. I know a lot of people like that.
Which is why I don't like it, because I know those people.
So you're saying that's why you don't like it, is because you know those people?
Saying stuff, trying to be important, but really saying nothing at all.
Yeah. It's like, so, okay, guys, come on. This, you can't, come on. Okay. All right. I thought of you guys. Okay. I'm going to keep doing Nicholas Bain for Deej, just for Deej.
Oh, yeah. So the one line that definitely describes like the backup dancers, very much like the dancing skeletons or David S. Pumpkins. And what are you guys? Part of it. And that's what's in there now. They're part of it. And Mr. Unblast is his own thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what fun. Yes, great fun. And I love it when we disagree a little bit, because we are all have such similar taste that I was like, well, I think it would be good for us to have some nice, healthy debate here and there. And we've been having it. And I think that's great. And it just shows how, as Deech says, there's something for everyone in SNL. There's something you're going to love. There's something you're going to hate. And that's part of the reason I love the show so much. It's because it truly is, I know this is used a lot, but it truly is a box of chocolates. And there's something for everyone. So I love that about SNL. And speaking of something that most of us love, is Joke Swap. I agree that the last Joke Swap was not as strong. This one made up for it 1,000,000 times over. This was just utter chaos from beginning to end. I remember the days when Joe would just take it, and he wouldn't give it back very hard, because Joe just isn't mean. He doesn't know how to be biting. Oh, he does now. He got sick of Shay always getting him. So he got him back with the grape juice and the boyfriend and the erect peanut. I mean, the Michael Jackson stuff. Oh my gosh. So yes, Jost got it in, but of course, Shay always gets the last laugh. And it ends with Jost almost getting shaved by, I'm assuming, Shay's barber. I don't know. Maybe one of the hair and makeup people. I don't know. Seemed like a lovely guy. Seemed like he was having a ball. Seemed like he would be more than happy to shave that beautiful hair off Colin's head. Perfect way to end update for the season. Everybody's talking about, are they coming back? Are they not? Let's put that aside and just appreciate how hilarious these two are together. They adore each other. And I love that Michael Che comment where he says, you really are an amazing comedian. I can't believe you were going to let him do that. And you could tell he meant that. That was not in dress rehearsal. That was an unplanned comment. And I just thought just shows you how much these two really love each other and how much Colin will go the distance for a joke. He has come, everybody talks about how he's come longer than pretty much anybody in the 51 years as far as his growth. He wasn't great at the beginning. He was kind of wooden. Now he's a genius. I loved every bit of it. It was one of my favorite joke swaps. Just terrific stuff.
Yeah, this is the one they're definitely the most evenly matched, because Colin was just giving as good as he got, and I just always love the reactions to each other. Yep. So when he first started Update, he was with Cecily Strong. Cecily Strong stopped doing Update because she wanted to concentrate on characters, which was definitely the right choice. The one that really got me was, so the new study finds that the average length of an erect penis in the country is 6.34 inches. Oh boy, that means I'm only 6 inches below average. Now I just have to figure out how to get erect. And Joe says, I like that that's a challenge for you. So they make a joke about Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor for his role as a vampire. A black vampire is just like a white vampire, except the only thing that sex drives the welfare state, which leads into my favorite Che of the night. Now, that was just a joke. I'm not a racist, and to prove it, I, Colin Jost, hereby pledge this season's salary to Dr. Umar Johnson's School for Black Boys. And just so we white people have context, Dr. Umar Johnson is the founder and lead tour guide for the Unapologetically African Black College of Consciousness and tour for 11 through 17-year-old boys and girls, which exposes them to the great historical Black college tradition within the context of learning about Black history. In 2018, the Pennsylvania State Board of Psychology hearing, because he was facing charges of engaging the practice of psychology without a license. Y'all might not know, but the brothers at home is not in their heads. No one in our white audience understands. And if that's not enough, I have a beautiful new ferry ready to give any Black person a free one-way trip back to the motherland.
These joke swaps are getting... I feel bad for them because they're like, how much, where can they go? Where else can they go? So I almost feel bad for them because they know it's their job and they have to go there. I don't think they want. I don't think they want to go there anymore. Michael Shea has recently said that he felt really bad about the joke he pulled on Colin Jost by telling the audience not to laugh at his. I think they were on an interview together, but they definitely talked about it. But he felt, because he told the audience don't laugh at this joke, and the audience didn't, and it really messed Colin Jost up, like screwed him up really bad. And like Shay was gonna make it go the entire update, but he's like, oh man, it's gonna crush his soul. I can't do it. And I think he genuinely felt bad that he did that to Colin. And I think that's part of the reason why he said like, you're a great comedian, because I think he's trying to like uncle, like, well, please, can we call a truce on this? But maybe that's just my fantasy here. But he did. Yeah, he said he's like, I felt real. I don't know if he regretted doing it, but he said that he genuinely felt bad. And I get to add on to Dr. Umar. He is like okay, I'm not Black, obviously, I'm not in that community, but I've seen enough of him, and I've seen people talk about him. He's like militantly pro-Black. Militantly, like, is always advising Black men to only date other Black women. But then the rumor is that he actually has a white girlfriend. So it's like, and like the school, like he's been building the school, I guess, for like 10 years, but it's never actually happened. So there's like a lot of, it's such a, I'm glad you looked up, Deej, what the reference was on that, because I could not believe that was on Weekend Update and that Colin Jost was saying it. I hope for someone that was a shot in the arm. I hope that was a delight for someone. But I could not believe that. And the Michael Jackson joke, because I guess I don't know if that was true or not. Do we know if that was Jamar Jackson in the audience? Because Colin was having Shay give his take on it. Like, I don't care what any guys say, Michael Jackson did nothing wrong. Straight face. Those kids deserve to get molested or something. And that was when Shay was like, oh, no, that's... oh, no. And I don't know if it was in the audience, but, oh, my God. That was great. I think these guys have a genuinely deep affection for each other, a genuine deep respect. So I think that comes out every joke swap. I don't know if that's a girly man to take on that, but I think their mutual respect truly gets stronger every joke swap, and I love to see it.
Well, we've made it to the end of the evening, the final two sketches, and they are doozies, as they always are at the end of the night. And the first one we're going to talk about is mechanics. We've got Mikey and Ashley back again, and they're at the mechanics, and Will is the owner, I'm assuming, telling them all the things that are wrong with their car. And as someone who doesn't get car lingo, this was very relatable to me. And then he brings on Marcelo, who's his Latinx mechanic, who's got the thick accent. You know, Marcelo does a lot of this, and he's very silly here, telling him all the things that are wrong and how much it's going to cost in a very nonsensical number that is also very realistic, because car maintenance is expensive. And then the capper, of course, is they bring in their expert mechanic, Mr. Paul McCartney. talking nonsense. I think he's Nigel. Talking nonsense. And somebody pointed out on the SNN, and I think it was Bill. He always catches things, that this was kind of an homage to Dana Carvey's Paul McCartney with the doodly doodly doo. So this was silly, but definitely fun. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. It was end of the night zaniness and definitely relatable. And of course, Mikey ends up paying an ass, whatever that means. And just, good, silly end of the night stuff.
Yeah, speaking of someone who fairly recently had to pay $916 Canadian to get my radiator replaced, and there's still another $2,500 repair that need to be done that I can't afford. I can totally relate to this sketch, and I like that they went with Paul, who was using very British terms to describe all the stuff that he was doing. So from a real life perspective, I can definitely understand. Although I gotta say, I do have one wonderful mechanic who's been my boyfriend's family mechanic for like at least 25 years or so. Although sometimes I would be glad to pay an ass if I didn't have to get all this money done. I did get a chuckle out of this just because I think, oh, I know this pain.
What I did appreciate about this was the premise, the setup. I think Neil Brennan was talking, as a writer for Chappelle's Show. He was talking to another comedian, and he was saying SNL is so different. Chappelle's Show is so different from SNL because Chappelle's Show, there was exposition, like a 2 or 3 sentence exposition before every bit. And on SNL, there's no exposition. So you have to explain why things are happening the way they're happening in the sketch. You have to give people an idea of what's going on. This, I could almost see this as Will Ferrell was just doing a bit in a writer's room, just pretending to be a mechanic and just making up increasingly nonsense words to describe what kind of work needed to be done. They're like, oh, we should make that into a sketch. And they just forewent any prelude, and they just said that here is a mechanic who's giving someone a price estimate or whatever the intro was. So I thought that was like kind of a relief. I'm like, kind of like, oh, you just will let Will Ferrell be Will Ferrell. This is going to be great. I can't think of any other examples where that happens very often, unless it's like, and now, those are usually runners from what I remember. I'm kind of just relieved they were like, we're not going to explain. We're not going to give you a reason to think anything else is going to happen here. This is Will Ferrell pretending to be a mechanic and making increasingly absurd diagnostics on the car that only need an oil change. And that's exactly what I thought they were going to do. That's what they did. And it was great. Marcelo, great. Paul McCartney, great. What a treat. He was again against Ashley. And I think they're just like respecting each other's performers because they didn't try to make each other break. I think there's some mutual respect there, to be honest. And Mikey, good job.
And we've made it to the final sketch, The Nudemans, with Will, Sarah, Veronica, Marcelo, and Andrew. And this is classic Will Ferrell. He had to get some skin showing at some point. And he's in half an outfit. He's got the garters on and the little black undies. And the new boyfriend, because the premise is Veronica's bringing the boyfriend home. This is the premise of many a sketch, but they always seem to like change it up. And this was just riotous. And again, props to the costume department for the perfectly half outfit on Marcelo, on Will, and on Sarah. And the whole thing with the window and the back cracking. And this was a perfect way to end the night. Just utter silliness. And I mean, Sarah's, to me, she just had a great season. She's really the MVP for me because she had 2 really amazing last sketches in a row. She had the auctioneer's crumbling marriage last week, and then this one this week. She shows that she can go toe to toe with just about anyone. I mean, going toe to toe with Will Ferrell and pulling it off. She's a genius. I love Sarah. I think she's always been great, but she is trying things. She's going places. I think she's going to be a superstar when she finally leaves SNL. Thought this was a terrific way to end the night. And I love the little card at the end that said, "Happy season 51 from the Nudemans." Perfect way to end it.
Okay, I had to rewatch this again because I when I saw the title on the rundown that Sherry writes up for us, always thank you very much for that, for all the work you've done this season with that. And I couldn't quite remember the sketch because I was kind of tired that day of various things, and I kind of didn't remember it, but then I got to the end when I reviewed it just before we recorded today. I was like, oh, yep, I remember this one now. Oh, I did find it funny. I did like the reverse of when Marcelo came out. The front of his outfit was out rather than the back. The season 51 congratulations thing very reminded me of one of my favorite families, the Vogelchecks. While this was entertaining and it was funny, but I'm sorry, Newdmans, you are no Vogelchecks. No one did bringing the new boyfriend home or friend than the Vogelchecks did.
The Vogelchecks, the Kissing family?
That is correct.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my
Where
God.
Bill was making out with everybody.
I need to process this information. I'm kind of on the Shari camp on this one. I thought this was a great, and this was like every Will Ferrell sketch in one sketch. I mean, it took the post 9/11 American flag thong that really forced you to think something was funny and such a horrible time. I think this is very much a product of 2026 because they couldn't wear you can't wear like fat butt prosthetics, like not in 2026. You couldn't show like more people's butt, not in 2026. Also, they're 20 years older, well, Will is. So I think they had to really back off from making it cringe, but I think for some of us, cringe is where it's funny, like in like old school. Will Ferrell just really doesn't like to wear clothes or pants. Like, he really doesn't like it. I think he has figured out a way. That's not the only thing you know him for, but he's definitely made that a theme in his work. Him bending over, the grunting and the straining, funny Marcelo with his front half gone, but the back, that was very clever. High level execution, high level of skill, and also, a little bit wholesome, especially with the card. So this really was the perfect way to send off season 51 with Will Ferrell.
Well, I forgot this. I shouldn't have, but we cannot forget Andrew Dismukes in all of this. He was the highlight of it because the reactions that he had and the trying not to say anything but still saying the totally wrong things. I think I should be looking away from them. So Andrew Dismukes, great working with Will Ferrell. Everybody in there was great working with Will Ferrell, but his reactions are what really made the sketch for me. Because I don't want to think just because I prefer the Vogelchecks, I didn't like this sketch. It's just that, well, I have a great love for the Vogelchecks, so.
Oh yes, 100% on Andrew and his slips, his Freudian slips with the ass of water, booty water, priceless. Andrew is, what can we say? He's also had a really good season and just continues to grow. So that is the end of our episode, and it's time for the ratings. And do we have a ratings denomination for tonight? Because I've been thinking about it. I always try to think about it all day.
Okay. Do we want to do separate penises?
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, Dee.
Let's do separate penises.
It's usually object related.
That's what I was going to say.
It makes perfect sense. So there we go.
All right. Severed penises it is. I thought this was a terrific season finale episode. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty much anything I could have wanted. I couldn't think of too much more that I would have wanted from it. I love the use of the cast. I thought everybody got their chance to shine here. This was great fun, and I am going to say 7.5 severed penises for me.
I'm going for another 9 because Will Ferrell is one of the best there is. Like with the Saturday Night Network greatest cast members list, I believe he was number 2 behind Bill Hader, which I kind of liked. I liked that the last 3 of those were Phil, Will, and Bill, because number 3 was Phil Hartman. Some things I like better than others, but there was nothing I hated. There's nothing that was off. I love the bringing back of the justice of bringing back the cast list sketch that got cut originally. I thought was absolutely a perfect thing to do, which is why it was my favorite of the night. So yeah, I'm giving this a 9 for me.
I'm gonna go 7 severed penises, 7.5 because of Mr. On Blast. That's an entire half point. I would give all my severed penises to Mr. On Blast, but for holistically, let's look at holistic. Will Ferrell, thank you. Did not disappoint. Put on a show. Paul McCartney put on a show. Molly Shannon put on a show. The cast put on a show. Everybody wanted to be there. Everybody was in the game. There's a lot of rewarding of longtime fans, a lot of people that like know the show really well. And I hope the cast list got some additional fans to dig a little bit deeper. I would be really curious to know what somebody's opinion was who'd never seen the first one. But that was absolutely a sense of justice. Agreed, Deej. And Shari, I have the same rating. 7.57 penises for me.
Okay, so that is the last episode of the season, and this concludes our first season of covering Saturday Night Live. I will admit there has been some challenges with fitting in editing with 2 podcasts and doing this one being pretty much almost every week except when there's breaks. But it's still, I have no regrets doing this, no regrets creating this. I have 2 wonderful ladies who I can actually talk about one of my passions with Saturday Night Live and just comedy in general. So after this, we're going to alternate weekly schedule. Our next episode will be the recap of a review of the entire season from all the ladies. And then we're going to get into SNL UK because we haven't been able to cover those episodes completely. Please give any thoughts you guys have for the end of this first season of our coverage. Shari?
Just what a joy this has been. What a true joy this has been. I can't even put it into words. I am the mushy one, I think. I can't thank you two enough. You are utter delights. I loved every minute of this. It's a wonderful way to end my Sunday night. And I'm just so lucky to have you both in my life, to have this show in my life. Everybody at work is always asking me, how's it going? I'm like, you know what? We're never going to make $1 million, but I've made $1 million in memories already. It's just the first season. So yes, I'm very lucky. And I'm so, so happy that we're fronting it for the women because there just aren't enough of us in podcasting in general, let alone in the SNL world. So yes, this has been an absolute joy. And I can't wait for the summer and I can't wait for season 52.
Deej, Shari, that's so beautiful. I echo agree +1+1. Just, I'm so lucky that I get to be a part of this and like I get to watch SNL thinking about takes I want to say, things I want to say, anything I want to get off my chest, any Reddit rant I want to give. So thank you both so much for making this like a safe place to discuss SNL. Women in SNL is just, it does not exist anywhere else. You guys are just, oh my God. Yeah. You are the ready for primetime players. I can't think of a good SNL analogy for that, but you ladies are great. I'm so glad to be a part of this.
Well, Shari was one of the main reasons I created it. I had the idea of my notion, but I realized that, like in the origin story, the water cooler podcasts of the SNL Hall of Fame ended, and Shari was saying in various chats, I'm really sorry that I don't have a podcast. It's like, I had this idea. I thought, Shari, want to do this with me? And then when we had Demi on as a guest, by the next day, it's like, hey, we want you as our third co-host because I think having 3 of us and the generational, well, 2 even generations, 1 younger generation, that kind of helps. But no, it's we got a really good trio here. We've had some really great guests and more guests to come. Although the world may seem pretty bleak, I beg you, please go forth and find the funny.
Funny is hope.
Saturday Night Ladies is a presentation of Wacky Notion Productions. Hosted by Deej Behrens, Shari Fesco, and Demi Constantine. Recorded and edited by Deej Behrens. Off-week show research by Shari Fesco. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just email SaturdayNightLadies1978@gmail.com. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.